Hi, welcome to How We Met. I'm Sheryl Strich, and every month I get to meet with two couples from Laguna Woods who tell their story about how they met. Our first couple up are Gail and Andy Smeal. Gail is a board member and past president of the 110 Club. She's a founding member of the OC Women in Business and also a member of the Pickleball Club of Yay and the Kiwanis Scholarship Committee. Andy served for 10 years on the Laguna Canyon Foundation Board and now serves on a New York City Theater Company Board. He's the president of Friends of Laguna Canyon and a very active member of the Pickleball Club, Paddle Tennis Club, and Tennis Club, along with being a very avid photographer. Welcome.
Good morning.
I'm so happy you could be here.
I'm glad too. This is great.
And by the way, Andy, because of Andy, I got to get a gold medal at the Village Games last year, so thank you.
She carried me through this thing. It was good. We were victorious.
Anyway, I always start with 3 questions.
Okay.
The first question is, where are you from?
I'm originally from Southern Illinois, Olney, a very tiny town.
Name?
Olney.
Only.
Olney.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And
Little.
Andy, where are you from?
Yonkers, New York.
Yonkers, New York.
Yonkers, New York.
Okay.
Dare I say it's next to the largest city in the world.
That's right.
Literally.
That's right.
Exactly.
How long have you been in Laguna Woods?
We both have been here 18 years. We came as embryos.
Embryos.
No, it's hard. We had a house in Laguna Niguel,
Yeah.
and we had sold it. And we were looking for a good size 1-story. We didn't even think about here. And a friend of a friend suggested. We came over, looked at the unit we're in now, and were very impressed, liked it, thought about it, and it turns out to be the best thing we ever did. But 18 years, we don't believe it. That's
Right.
a long time.
That is a long time.
That is a long time.
That's a really long time.
It is, but it's quick. It
Yeah.
goes by quick.
Yeah, it goes by quickly.
It's been a very good 18 years.
How long have you been a couple?
We've been here, 35 years. We met, and we got married really one year to the day from when we met. So
Okay, wait. Just how long have you been a couple? Because then you're going to tell the story.
Okay, 34.
That's my last question.
35 years technically, 34 years married.
Okay, all right. Let's get to business.
Yes.
How did you meet?
Well, we were both at a business conference in San Diego, and a investor in my company.
What was your company?
It was called Employee Assistance Service. It
Okay.
was a counseling company that took contracts with corporations
Okay.
to help their employees. And an investor in my company had done business with Andy's company.
And what was your company?
It was a marketing consulting company
Okay.
involving self-insurance.
Okay.
But that's what, and this was a client of mine.
Okay.
And it was the last night of a conference in San Diego.
Okay.
So he introduced us, and we talked that evening because my company was headquartered on the East Coast. I lived in Virginia,
Okay.
really Washington, D.C. suburb, and Andy lived in Laguna Niguel. So we just sat and talked, and then he had to leave to go to a meeting in L.A. the next day. So
So that was it?
that was it.
Well, this was very geographically undesirable.
Did you get Gail's phone number?
Oh, yeah. I mean, she made a big impression. But in my mind, what are you going to do with this?
Right.
I mean, she lives there, I live here.
Right.
And I don't go back there all that often.
Right.
And so a lot of airline tickets.
Well, when did you call? When was the next time you called her?
Well, this was very strategic. yeah. It was like you're trying to figure this out. You're not going to do it in 2 days, 3 days. And plus, you had to sort of mull this over as to what did this mean.
Right.
And I couldn't get her out of my head.
Right.
And I had dated a lot. I was single at the time. I had been previously married. So we just really sort of meshed. But what do you do with this? And so I called her about 3 weeks later.
Gail, did you expect him to call you?
I didn't know if he would, but he had given me his business card, and I gave it to my receptionist, who scotch taped it to her lamp. And I told her, if this person ever calls, patch the call in to wherever I am.
Okay.
Because I had a car phone then.
Okay.
And it was like, I want to talk to this person.
So I call about 2.5, 3 weeks later, and not even knowing she's going to remember who I am. And
Oh, Andy, how could anybody not remember you?
I know, that's my story. Exactly. but easy. And so talked to the receptionist, which I didn't know, and is Gail in? Just a minute, you know. And I got her on the phone, and her maiden name was Gail Gibson. So Gail, is Andy Smeal. Oh yes, Andy, good to hear from you. Very, you know, it's a sort of casual type of thing. I said, the reason I'm calling is I'm going to be back in Washington, D.C. in about a week, and I'd really love to get together, take you out to dinner. I've got some business back there and everything. Well, little did she know, she was the business.
Oh.
Because I had to go back and see her. I had to figure this out. Is this for real? Am I imagining things? So we did get together, and we had a wonderful dinner in Georgetown, and spent time together. Our first date was over in Annapolis,
Okay.
which is a beautiful
Yeah.
place, and and even though Gail's from Southern Illinois, she loved the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast, and I don't know if I'd want to live there again, but I love it.
Right.
And so we just had and then now you're really wondering, what am I going to do with this?
Right.
And then it proceeded to be, why don't you come out, visit me, and back and forth. So we're both marketing people.
Right,
So we were
right.
marketing each other on why either one of us should live in the other place. Exactly.
Gail, what was your campaign?
Charlottesville, Virginia, because I love Thomas Jefferson and Monticello. I went to all these beautiful historic towns because I somehow had a vision of living like a horse farm,
Okay.
and back and forth, back and forth.
Andy, what was your marketing campaign?
Oh my gosh. Well, California's got a lot of, so Santa Barbara, wine country, but just even down here, Laguna, Dana Point, all these beautiful areas. Gail wasn't that familiar, even though she'd been through here once. It was just back and forth doing this, and a lot of airline tickets. We were probably doing this like twice a month. So this got, because then it started accelerating, knowing this is going someplace, but
Right.
you've got to have sort of a,
So did one person just go back and forth? You took
oh,
two?
both.
Oh.
Both. And I got a great travel log on the East Coast, things I hadn't seen. We both love New York City, so we'd go up there. But you knew this had to have some finish line.
Right.
You just can't
Right.
do this. And
Could
Gail,
you take your business to the East Coast?
I could. And
And
but it
Gail
was-
could take her business to the
Yes.
West Coast?
yes,
Yes.
Okay.
because she had a staff back east, but she had a great number 2 person.
Right.
And she actually had some business on the West Coast, but never had a physical presence out here.
Right.
And so, as it turned out, Gail really did have the bravery to make the move, because California is different
Right.
if you've never lived here.
Right.
And so 1 year from the day we met in October,
Right.
we got married back in Virginia.
Oh, in Virginia?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And it went from there.
Yes.
Yeah, went from there. And then
Yes.
we
Okay, so I know that you travel a lot.
We
Where was
do.
your honeymoon?
In Europe, we flew Washington D.C. to New York, and then to London, and then we did a couple of days in London, Paris.
Munich.
Oh yeah, south of France. It was like 2 or 3 weeks.
Wait, before I forget. So I know that you guys travel a lot. In the middle of that year, while one was going to one coast and the other was going, did you ever go anywhere else?
No, pretty much, because we had the businesses to run.
Okay.
And when you have your own business, nobody's paying you to go on vacation. You always think when you have your own business, you're just free.
Right, right.
Well, you're not. You've got all these other bosses. So even on our honeymoon, we had to sort of make a hole to be able to go away for two and a half
and that was
weeks.
before you could do everything online.
Yes.
Oh,
No-
yes.
No
yeah.
online.
No online.
A lot of phone calls.
A lot of phone calls. So it all worked, and then came back here, lived in Laguna Niguel for 12, 13 years.
Right.
Because I had a condo there. We lived there.
And you were still working.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. And then we we had not a shared office, but we were in the same office building in Laguna Hills.
Okay.
And so we would commute. But just see how crazy this was. Gail would do a lot of traveling, I would. So on Monday morning, we'd get up, and we don't even talk about it, it was just, this is what you're doing. So we'd go up to John Wayne, and we'd be standing at the same gate, getting on the same plane.
True, we didn't.
Because there were like 3 or 4 planes, American Airlines, going to Dallas every day.
Okay.
And she was going to Dallas because she had a contact there, but I was commuting through to go to Nashville or something like that. And we'd like, oh my God. And we thought this was so strange. And one of the flight attendants said, oh no, this is more common than you ever know. Because people who don't travel a lot, traveling is a major thing. When you do this every week, it's just like getting on a bus.
Right.
Yeah, I just had a folio of plane tickets.
Yeah, so there was like 3 or 4 American airline flights within.
But you guys were traveling before you were.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
had to,
Okay.
had to.
Okay, but then you had to add the commute to West Coast,
Yes.
East Coast.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it was
God.
actually harder for her because
Right.
she had to go back and
Right.
Yes.
do that every couple of weeks to make sure the
Yeah.
Indians were all doing the right thing. Exactly. But her number 2 person was very good, so
Very
that
good.
worked out very
So
well.
when you moved here, were you both still working?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And, but just making the transition.
So you've been here 18 years. How many years have you been retired?
About that.
Oh, so you
About
moved here and then you
Really?
retired.
Because we sort of semi-retired before that. I mean, a personal item. Gail had a brain aneurysm.
Oh.
20 years ago.
Oh, I'm
But it all obviously
too.
worked out.
You seem to be okay now.
But
Yes.
it was frightening. I
Yeah.
mean, and it was right over New Year's of 2002, 2003. And so when you came out of that, wow, really, it was sobering. It made you really think about, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And we don't have kids.
Right.
And life was good and everything. And then you started to sort of ratchet everything down. It wasn't
Right.
something you could just turn off.
Right.
But so when we were here, we were really in that transition period to sort of just retire.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so that worked out well.
Yeah, and you moved to a nice area. I mean, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
you had friends from Laguna Niguel so that you could,
Yes.
so you brought those friends into your life
Yes.
along with the new friends from
Yes.
here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No, that's the beauty. Even when I meet people that are new to Laguna, I always say, get outside.
Right.
There's so many things
Right.
outside.
Right.
And we had that advantage already, so it
Yeah.
was terrific. Yeah.
One of our best friends, it was a neighbor of the original condo, so we've known them 35 years.
Great. And then you ratcheted up your traveling too. Tell me
Yes.
about your last trip.
Well,
You have 2 minutes. I just got the 2-minute
You go
warning.
ahead.
What was,
The cruise, yeah.
The Panama Canal, I know it.
yes, I'm thinking of Ireland, Scotland,
Last
Spain,
October,
but
yeah.
that was October. We just got back from a Panama Canal cruise. That was just beautiful, a smaller boat,
Okay.
because we don't take a lot of
We're
cruises.
not big cruise
Yeah.
people, and this surprised us. This was very relaxing.
Right.
You didn't have to fight for
Lovely.
seats. You didn't have to, and you saw a lot of things you hadn't seen.
Right.
It was
Right.
And that's one of the
wonderful.
things we try to do is do
Right.
new things.
Right. Right.
Ended on the East Coast.
Right.
Met with some of Andy's family. Had a few days in
In
Palm
Florida,
Beach,
yeah.
so that was nice.
It was good. No, we love it. That's the one
great.
thing that really
Right.
is our big toy in life.
Yes.
Is to we try to do two big trips a year if we can.
Right.
So it's
right,
good.
Right. So you're here for a little while.
We are. And
Till
then
the
we don't
next-
travel in summer.
Oh, till
now.
October when
Yes.
you should be in the Village Games with me.
Exactly. I might be. I might be. It's going to be close. We're defending champions.
We're
Exactly.
defending
That's
champions,
right.
so hopefully you will be here. Otherwise, I have to play by myself.
Exactly. No, I think it might be close. We might do it.
Anyway, I got the warning. So thank you so much for coming on. It's really been
No.
fun, and
Thank
I
you.
did learn things about you guys that I didn't know before.
No, that's the whole point. That's very good. Well, thank you for having us.
So thank you very much.
Very good.
Our next couple up are Arnie Schwartz and Elisa Kaplan Center. They're both members of many of our Laguna Woods clubs, the Theater Guild, the Old Pros, Concerned Citizens, College Club, Reform Temple, NCJW, the California and Chicago clubs. Arnie delivered for Meals on Wheels and volunteered for earthquake preparedness. He was the treasurer of the 110 Club, the Car Club, and the Aerospace Club. Guy you want on your club as treasurer. And Elisa is a clown with the Clown Alley. And they have recently started a new club called Broadway Music Lovers. Welcome. Thank you so much
you.
for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
I always start with 3 questions, as you know. And the first question is, where are you from?
I am from New York City, born and raised.
Born and raised.
I was born in the city, and I grew up in a little enclave called Riverdale in the Bronx.
Okay. And Arnie?
I'm from across the river,
Where are you from?
Weehawken, New Jersey. That's the
okay.
town the Lincoln Tunnel comes into New Jersey.
Okay.
And I could see the whole New York skyline from my house.
Okay.
But I didn't like the city,
Oh,
except to
okay.
go to shows.
Okay. All right. How long have you guys been in the village? I know this is going to be a really complicated answer, but go ahead.
You go first, Arnie.
Only 25 years.
25 years.
25 years.
Okay. Did you move from New York?
No.
Okay.
I moved from San Dimas,
Oh, okay.
California.
All right.
I had to consolidate 2 factories back in the 80s,
Okay.
and I had a West Coast rep, and we ended up in the Covina area, which was convenient, you know.
Okay. And Elisa, Elisa, when did you come to the village? How long have you been here?
Well, I actually moved in on March 15th of 2020. A lot of people probably know that date.
Significant.
Totally,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I moved here from New Hampshire, actually,
Okay.
and decided to, it was very cold there.
Yes,
And when
yes.
you're short, it's really hard to get the snow off the top of your car.
Oh, it's
with a
always-
step stool.
it's always
So I was
miserable.
like, where am I going to live when I semi-retire? So California was the place.
Now, this is my favorite. This is going to be my favorite question with the 2 of you. How long have you been a couple?
We have been a couple for 3 years and a few months,
Okay.
but it started as a friendship.
Okay. Let's go into that question. And how did you meet?
Well, I came here not knowing anyone. So I put an ad on nextdoor.com looking to make girlfriends
Okay.
to go out to dinner with and travel and have friendships.
Right.
And I actually had a huge party on my lawn, and 17 women replied. Well, I was looking for girlfriends, and this guy responded to my email and my post on nextdoor.com. And I completely ignored it.
Oh, you ignored it.
Totally.
Okay.
For a couple months. And
So you
my-
didn't invite him to the party?
No,
Oh.
you know what? I'm widowed twice. I was
Okay.
widowed by the age of 54.
Okay.
And I love men. That's why I'm here. But I was in a place in my life where I just wanted to sort of work and focus on female friendships because I think they're important.
Right. And okay, so then what happened?
Well, one of the women, her name is Meryl, she's a good friend of mine now who attended that party. I kept telling her, God, this guy keeps emailing me and responding to this Nextdoor ad. And she goes, oh, just go out. Well, he wants to take me for coffee. Just go for coffee. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I wrote him back and I said yes. And we started to chat, email, and then on the phone. And he said, well, you're from New York. You probably are, used to sophisticated eating. What do you like to eat? And I said,
This is
well,
before coffee?
it never happened, the coffee.
Coffee
It went
didn't-
straight to eating. So I said Italian and French. So he said, well, we live really close to a place called King's Fish House. How about we meet there? So we did. And it was a wonderful 4-hour lunch.
Oh.
Or dinner.
We don't remember. Kind of blended in, yeah.
Nice. And then what happened? Okay, so you met and you had 4 hours of lunch or dinner. And then when was the next time you got together?
The next day.
Oh, the next day?
Well, what
guess you-
happened was he shared his story.
Okay.
And he was widowed also, a long-term marriage, and
Right.
then lost a partner of 10 years.
Okay.
And we had a lot in common because
Right.
we're from the East Coast.
Right.
But he's so smart and was so interesting. And really what he wanted was a meal partner.
Oh,
Because he's of the generation where you don't go out to eat alone
okay.
at a table or a bar.
Okay.
And I'm not from that generation, so I'm okay doing that. But he really just wanted to go out for food, and I love to eat.
You're a good food
Totally.
partner. You're a good food
Yeah.
partner.
So we were he said, oh, let's go here, let's go there. So after a few weeks, I was feeling like guilty. So I said to him, I went to his house.
Right.
And he has a big office, and his wife had a side of the office. So I said, in reciprocation, I said, maybe I could help you in the office and, take out files and help you organize it and whatever. And he said, well, I could really use help in the kitchen. I said, the kitchen? He goes, you should see how many cutting boards and pots I have. So we started in the kitchen, in the spice closet, And before I knew it, we were just very good friends, and I wasn't working. I had lost a job, actually,
Okay.
because COVID happened.
Right.
So I went over to his house every day. He had a dog. We walked, a mile or two with the dog, and then we'd have coffee and watch the news, and then we'd go into the office, and he'd do his thing, and I'd putter around, and then we'd go out to lunch, and then go out to dinner, and then the next day it was the same thing.
Did you watch your weight during this time?
Yes. Actually, I walk a lot,
Okay.
and even though we go out a lot, we're very health conscious.
Okay.
And like when we go to King's or somewhere we share,
Okay.
or I always ask the to-go box, which he thinks is
Because
funny.
it's deadly for me to go
Totally.
out.
Well, I love eating out. When you're from New York City, especially living in Manhattan,
Right.
you order in breakfast, you go out to lunch, you order in dip. So it was a thing for me, and I was used to that.
So what restaurants were you taking her to besides King's?
There's a few Italian restaurants around town, 2 or 3 that we enjoy. And the other day we hit Ironwood, which was excellent.
Oh, okay.
That's only the second time we've been there. It was
Okay.
a wonderful meal.
Yes.
And we're constantly looking at new places, but we don't want to go too far.
Okay. All right.
She
Well,
doesn't like to drive on the freeways.
oh, I can understand that.
But he's a
She
great
says
driver.
the California drivers are crazy.
Unbelievable.
And
7 lanes. What's
so
going
I have
on?
to drive local roads for her.
Oh, you drive local roads. You won't let him get on the freeway?
He's a great driver.
Okay.
But I'm from New York City, and it's bad here.
So how long did it take before you didn't have to putter anymore?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I came in through his garage, and one day I came in, and he had a beautiful little dog. And he was taking the dog out of the crate, and he was singing like this love song, and massaging the dog, and giving the dog so much love. And I love dogs, but I'm in dog retirement now,
Right,
so
right.
I've had many,
Right.
And so I looked at him, I was like, wow. So we just sat at the dining room table, and I was leaving. I had to go somewhere. And he got up in the doorway and said, "Can I give you a hug?"
Oh.
And I said, "No." I did. I said no. I said, and exactly what I said was, I said no, because once you hug me and I hug you, we're not going to be friends anymore.
Right.
So I left, and he was very respectful. He stepped out of the way, and I come back the next morning. We're having coffee.
Oh, so that
And-
didn't stop you from coming back?
No,
Oh,
because
okay.
we're friends.
Okay.
We have a wonderful friendship.
Okay.
We still do.
We're solid friends. But what happened was, I came back for breakfast the next day. We're making coffee, we're eating whatever. I don't know, and his arm was like there. And I just touched it. And we were no longer friends.
Oh.
So that's really what happened.
How long after you first met?
7 months.
Okay. Nice.
But we spent like 18 hours a day together for 7 months.
Ah, do you still do that?
Sometimes. But I've started to work again.
Okay.
So I started my own business. I'm a beauty consultant with Mary Kay. So the beauty of that is that there's flexibility.
Right.
So maybe I'll pop over for breakfast. We go to lunch, or we travel. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so it's basically 2.5 years that you've really been a thing. So what kind of trips have you taken?
I just started taking her on our first cruise.
Oh, okay.
She had never been on a cruise
Oh,
before.
you've never been on a cruise before.
I've been on 66, 67 cruises.
So where'd you go?
So I took her on a cruise up the coast.
Well,
Okay.
because
go
he
ahead.
wanted to take me on a 32-day cruise for my first cruise.
Oh.
And I
That
said
might be
to
a
him,
little long.
Well, I was like, that's very generous and lovely of you. I said, but I've never been on a cruise.
Right.
I said, I think we need to look at something maybe just in California.
Right.
I think maybe 7 days.
Right.
And we took an amazing cruise. We took a 7-day cruise up and down the coast, one night in Mexico.
Okay.
On the Discovery Princess. He's a princess guy from
Okay.
way back.
Okay.
We had a beautiful suite. It was just a fabulous time.
Oh, a
And-
suite.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
Because I was working. Right. Well, he was because I was working, and it had like a divider, and
Right.
there, and there was the office, and it was beautiful. But the best part was, I'm an entertainer, and I love good entertainment.
Right.
So this cruise line, the entertainment starts at 4 in the afternoon, every hour on the hour.
Right.
And we had a blast dancing, and I met 10 women from Connecticut, and we were dancing, and Arnie was. and the food, and we ate in every spot. And I had never cruised because I brought up 5 children
Right,
with my late husband. There was no time for that
Right.
kind of vacation.
Right.
So then we went to Alaska last summer.
On a cruise?
Yeah,
Oh.
for 14 days. And then in January, where are we
We're going
going?
to go to Tahiti.
Oh, nice.
Via Hawaii and
Yeah.
yeah. Geography's not my thing.
Right.
He's a very good
She
geographer.
doesn't even know the states.
I know. So he made me, I'm a math teacher, retired math and computer science teacher, but for some reason, because I'm so from the East Coast and my kids and grandkids all live on the East Coast,
Right.
I knew where California was,
Right.
but I came out here as my dad had clients here,
Right.
but so I got a map.
Right.
And I have a huge map on my office, so when he tells me where we're going.
Before I forget, I understand that you have started a new club. I mentioned that in the beginning. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Certainly. So I was auditioning for a show for the Old Pros and was cast in the show. It was my very first show in the Village. Brett Halsey was directing.
Right.
And next to me was a woman named Kate, and we were all telling our stories. And it ended up that I went to the High School of Performing Arts in New York,
Right.
and she went to Emerson College, where a lot of my friends went,
Okay.
and we knew people.
Okay.
We bonded immediately. We lived on the same street, and we were all about Broadway and musical theater.
Okay.
And every year we go to New York.
Okay.
Actually, we're going to New York June 4th through the 9th. We're seeing 4 Broadway shows, 3 museums,
Right.
eating out with all our friends,
Right.
5 days, bring my mom back.
Okay.
So we love Broadway.
Right.
We have Playbill online. We get the play, and that's all we do is talk. And I'm a pianist. I'm a trained pianist. So
Okay.
I play classically trained out of Manhattan School of Music and Juilliard. And she had a piano, and we were rehearsing. And I said, we should have a club.
Okay.
So we were on a wait list.
Okay.
For 2 years.
So now you got on.
We're on.
Where you're
and
on.
our first meeting is June 13th at
Okay.
5:30 p.m.
Okay.
in Dining Room 2.
Is it for people to perform?
No, it's not a performance-based club. It's along the lines of a Salon Rhodes Scholar.
Okay.
I'll be playing some piano, and I'm actually flying my mother in, who's a Broadway film actress.
Okay.
So she's going to be performing and telling stories about all the famous people
Okay.
that she's worked with.
Okay.
And she's, of the age bracket that many of the people will be coming.
Okay.
We actually already have over 30 members before we've even had our first meeting.
Wonderful.
People have written checks, mailed it
Right,
in, so
right.
we're very excited. And then we're going to focus each meeting on something else.
Okay.
Maybe the history of that Broadway show, Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Okay,
And
perfect.
I'll be playing and singing, Kate might sing.
Yes.
And then we want people to come who maybe have backgrounds from New York,
Okay.
maybe who are producers or writers or
Right,
directors,
right.
or one woman already told me that she's got a video of so-and-so, a famous person. So I was like, great.
Nice.
So we're going to do all kinds of things, no auditions needed.
Okay.
It is not performance-based.
Okay.
We're not in competition with anybody.
Perfect. What you don't know is PJ's putting up the flyer about your club as we speak.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you.
I wish you a lot of luck in this, and I
Thank
want to
you.
thank you guys for coming on. It's really been fun hearing your story.
Our pleasure.
Hi, I'm wearing another hat. As a board member on the Saddle Club, I want to remind you all that if you haven't signed up for our first barbecue of the year on June 10th, head on down to the Equestrian Center and sign up. If you'd like to come on to the show, email us at lwvcouples@gmail.com. Include your name, phone number, and email address, and brief description of your story.